Hi, this is Alan Parker, and I'd like to share some of my thoughts on the making of the film to go with this Criterion Collection special edition of Evita. But I actually was asked to do Evita first, some 18 years ago by Robert Stigwood. But I'd just finished Fame at the time, so I didn't want to do yet another musical, one after the other. So I said no to Evita then. Sort of looked over my shoulder over the years, as many directors were, trying to put it together. But I'm glad it came back to me in the end. I'd actually seen a videotape of Antonio doing an audition for this in one of its previous lives for Evita. When he first went to the States, his English was a bit shaky in those days, but his singing was great. And I've always loved the films that he'd done in Spain. So I was a great fan of him as an actor. So it was a complete revelation and, very encouraging, the fact that he actually could also sing as well as he could, because the whole piece obviously is sung throughout. This was shot about 200 miles west of Buenos Aires, in a very small town. This sequence musically it's still the score, but it was reworked by Andrew to take the instrumentation of to give the impression of a small funeral band. It says Chivilcoy 1926. Actually wasn't the actual Chivilcoy. It was about 50 miles away from there, because Chivilcoy is quite a modern city now. So this was in order to make it period correct, more authentic. And it once was a great agricultural nation, Argentina. They don't rely quite so much on that. And so a lot of these small towns out in the middle of the Pampas are quite depressed. There's a very difficult crane shot where we come down from on high and we go in closer onto her face, and she's with a walkie-talkie hidden by the flag so that she can hold her breath at the right moment. Because however fit and accomplished Madonna is, she can't hold her breath for that long. But that's, as we come in close, that's Madonna inside the coffin. So it's a pretty eerie thing to do. She was quite brave, yes. I mean, apart from complaining about being claustrophobic, she didn't find it creepy. I personally would. I wouldn't be able to get into any coffin. But I don't know. In the end, actors have to do all sorts of things that they don't sometimes like. Very brave, really. But no, she never, although she complained about many other things, she never complained about getting in the coffin, strangely enough. And then, of course, we spent 2 nights filming the actual Casa Rosada for Don't Cry for Me, and then later for the final broadcast when Ava's dying. And these scenes had to be intercut with the closer shots of Ava, which were done on a set in Shepperton. We rebuilt part of the facade of the Casa Rosada in order to be able to spend time and to be able to have more control. It would have been impossible to do the closer stuff actually in the 2 nights that we were allowed to have the Casa Rosada, because obviously this whole sequence took over 5 days to film. So it was always going to be a set. If we hadn't got permission from the president to use the real Casa Rosada, we were going to build a gigantic set at Shepperton. We would never have been able to build it as effectively as the shots that you see on the film now. But we would have been able to recreate at least some of it. But as it happened, we ended up only having to build the balcony.